We begin today's episode right when you arrived in Jorix. The weather at this time is cooler. Autumn is definitely in the air. As you are seeing, now that you are nearing at this point, or have arrived rather, in the city of Jorix, the trees have changed that to different colors of red and purple, yellow, and in some cases brown. The dockways and the cobblestone roads are littered with the remnants of these fallen leaves from trees. Everyone's wearing more bundled up clothing as they're milling about. The sounds, the sights, and the smells of the city assault your senses almost immediately, Diadora. I want to say probably even a days away from Jorix, you had started to kind of smell civilization, highly populated area. Sorry. I love you. You had started to kind of just sense that was in the air in contrast to just being surrounded by nature and all of its wonderfulness. To go from the general quiet of the last few weeks to even roaming around Vanya to now being in a bigger city, even bigger than Illipin in contrast. Entirely different beast. And at this moment, several of your party members have just said goodbye. And Rory or Blackstone, you're still trying to figure out what that whole business is. Kind of looks expectantly at you for a moment. Why don't you roll an insight check on them?
Are you... I'm not... They can't see me.
No, I know. It was me for the monologue, okay. And then I just transitioned over.
Okay, I was just like you're talking to me, but nobody can see my reactions.
Yep, I was setting
and they're pretty profound reactions, to be honest. I'm just raising my eyebrows and like nodding.
No, I had the insight check was gonna pop you up on the screen.
Well, also, you didn't give me warning for when we were coming back, so
I know I've lost track of the time. It's fine.
So I'm pretty sure the chat heard me say "fuck you."
They didn't because your mic wasn't on that layer.
Okay, well they heard it now. Insight check, you said?
Yes. We're a mess.
Okay. That one.
Okay. You're still getting to know if this is Rory, Blackstone, and he's always wearing the mask, so it's really hard to tell sometimes. I think that in combination with just like getting assaulted from all of your senses by like all the noise, all the sights, all the vibrant colors, people milling about, like even as you're on this like crowded street, like you're kind of every now and then, because people will just walk. They will not move around you. They will just walk. So at times you're kind of getting bumped from the sides and stuff like that. It's a lot to go from where you were to where you are now. Rory seems to give some kind of expression before kind of hunching his shoulders a little bit. Diadora, should we get settled first, or where should we go?
I don't know this place. So I'm not sure.
I think to make sure that we are both kind of settled a bit, there is something I would like to do first. Might make sense for us to get a room at a tavern or an inn. That way we have a base to come back to, and we can therefore figure out what we're going to do next.
Sure. Whatever you want.
Okay. And you guys see for a moment he moves around towards his bag and pulls out what appears to be almost like little flashcards as he's going through. It seems like it's almost like an address book of like places he's either been. Obviously you can't really read it, but you can see a lot of scrawling and pictures on it. And eventually Blackstone settles on a page. It goes, well, we shall see if this inn or tavern is still up and running, as it's been some time since I've been here. But I believe that this will give us the proper place to rest and, well, not necessarily relaxed, but by chance take a look at all of our equipment and be able to reset ourselves.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
Lead the way.
And he kind of walks off. You can see at this moment too, Corbin every now and then kind of pokes his head out of the scarf and kind of looks back at you, looks at Sparky, and then pops back into the scarf, burrowing down.
What kind of look is it?
Just like curious. Like it seems like when he first popped out, he's very confused by like kind of all of a sudden being in a very loud setting. And then just checking, kind of just doing that thing of like, well, where am I? Am I still with my group? Thing of like, did I fall asleep on the thing? So just kind of curiously looking between the two of you. He's been spending a lot of time with Sparky over the last week or so on the boat.
Okay.
So seems to be kind of just checking Sparky out. And I would say he disappears into the little scarf, only to come out with like, he like looks up at Rory for a second, and you just see he's got a little biscuit.
Oh, so cute.
That he'll just kind of toss down.
Oh, stop! That's so cute. I also imagine them like on the boat with like Corbin just riding Sparky, or just like kind of like burrowed into like the thick fur on like his neck. Oh my god, that's so cute. I need art of that immediately.
But just kind of just tossing down a little treat as like a good boy. Like, thank you.
And he is a good boy.
He is a good boy. Before like looking at you and kind of just giving a very polite nod. Then disappearing back into the scarf. I keep wanting to say vest. Scarf. And you continue moving through the city. As you're walking, you are passing by buildings of various sizes. Some of these houses looking so skinny, like they looked like they were literally shoved into the kind of alleyway between two much larger kind of buildings, built taller versus longwise. Kind of at times hard to believe that people could live in those buildings, but there's a wide variety of people as you're moving around. There are a couple of Aarakocra bird people that are kind of milling about, some of them wearing robes with several books, looking like they were either heading towards a different kind of quarter that you're in or away from. You can see off in the distance, off on your left, where the kind of mountainside bisects upwards, where you can see what looks to be several larger kind of temple, citadel type buildings overlooking the ocean, which you do get a whiff of every now and then, of like just the salt in the air kind of moving through the city. Then that same mountainside going upwards towards much larger, taller, grander kind of buildings, before eventually this massive castle that is just overlooking everything. In this moment, as kind of sun is starting to set a little bit, you can see the rays of the light kind of bouncing off of the sides of the building, giving everything like a very auburn kind of look to it, a tinge, kind of fitting with the autumnal season. But you move through. It's loud. At this point, you can see a lot of folks are either like starting to clear up shop for the night. So some people are moving their stands in, selling off the last of their food. You see a couple of the kind of makeshift tables and stands. If a couple people are not able to sell the last little bits of their food, they still give it to people. That way it's not wasted. So you do see there's almost like a line of individuals that have need that they'll, give a couple. It's minus like it's stale bread or something like that, but it's still food. So there is at least, even in a bustling city such as this, there is still some kind of camaraderie and trying to help out as you move through. Eventually, you find yourself moving through an archway through the wall that seems to have some kind of like golden sign on the wall itself. And eventually you find yourself in a kind of marketplace area, which at this moment is largely getting cleared out as well. You do see Crownsguard as you're moving around. They seem very busy compared to your prior experiences in Vibran, and even more so in Illipin. They seem to be a lot more on edge and kind of moving around a lot more. But you do hear kind of that chatter of, one Crown's Guard mentioning that they don't really want to be on watch tonight. A few people are not necessarily even coming with the vibe of being lazy, but more so just this fear of the unknown because of people going missing. So you hear a lot of side conversations in regards to that. And kind of the every now a superior kind of hearing that is like, well, okay, your feelings are valid, but like, this is our job. We have to protect the city. We have to do this. So just be extra careful. I'll be around. I'll come around as you're doing your watch just to double check and see things. But you get the sense that even they are a bit fearful of what's going on as you move about.
I think for the most part, like, Diadora's been taking stuff in, but like not really absorbing it. Her movements are a little bit similar to Corbett in that every once in a while she kind of looks back to see if there's still people around her, and then realizing that they're not, as she's following Blackstone, Rory, whoever this person is right now. But I do think that, like, I think she clocks, like, people giving away, like, leftover food and likes that, because that's, like, similar to the community that she grew up in. And also, above table, that's how you do communism, folks. Everybody eats. And I think also overhearing the Crown's Guard also, like, kind of pulls her out of herself a little bit.
Sure.
Just because it's like, I think she like will probably stop in her tracks and turn to them as like she overhears this conversation. And I do think like, even though she's no longer a Crown's Guard, I do think like she still like has the insignia and like wears it.
Yeah.
And so she'll turn to them and just like say like, if you're scared, what hope do the people have?
And you see at this moment, it's a group of 3 Crown's Guard that are kind of standing together at this moment over by, I would say, kind of a notice board, which you can see is littered with portraits and drawings of people's faces. And there's words with it, but the faces, I think, are what are more impressionable for you, because it's not only
like get the sense that these are like missing people's
Yeah.
posters, because you don't just put random pictures of people up on the on a fucking notice board. Like, you know, like it's either they're either wanted or they're missing.
I was gonna say, I feel like you would either know that they're wanted or they're missing in some way, shape, or form. And it is a mixture, I will say, above table of that. There are definitely some wanted posters of criminals that have been cited in the area. But there is also a lot more of a volume in terms of the missing. And you see 3 Crowns Guard that are kind of standing by the board. One clearly is the superior. He's got kind of larger kind of shoulder pads on with more of the
pauldrons.
Pauldrons, thank you. Yeah, I was like, what's the word? It's not the 80s. But it has
he has an 80s businesswoman's like suit jacket on.
Yeah.
A power suit.
Yeah. But he's got the 2-sided, whereas like the lower subordinates only have the 1 pauldron on the one side to represent that they are lower in station. And they are also having the crest, of course. The 2 subordinates look like they're upper teens, early 20s, like fresh out of the academy and cadets. This is probably like their brand, like, and considering the time of year, I think for you, not to make you roll any like history checks and stuff, it makes sense. The last kind of graduation from the academy had just happened, so now this is the new recruits beginning their work. The circle of life and all that it is. But you see the 2 subordinates. One looks to be an owlin, who's a kind of great horned owl, kind of midnight black feathers, bright orange eyes that in this moment are just super wide, looking very fearful. Short in stature, is only about 3 feet, give or take. And is seemingly has this pair of a large whip on either side of him that every now and then you see he kind of pulls out and seems to kind of just flex it in the air nervously before quickly putting it back. The other is a half-orc. Looks to be probably closer to that early 20s, and has a couple daggers on either side, scales, but not completely covered. So there's seemingly some kind of sea folk, pointed ears, but these blue and green scales that kind of dot the sides of their face every now and then. Bright kind of cerulean eyes, and blonde hair that's kind of slicked back a little bit and poofed up. And then their, obviously their supervisor, so to speak, is a large tiefling woman who's kind of just leaning on a greatsword as she's talking, seemingly stretching out her lower back as she's been just standing up straight for a very long time. And kind of looks over in your direction. She's got fiery red eyes that just seem aflame. Her hair is tied up in a very messy kind of bun, with pieces that go around her horns, which have these kind of golden clasps on it, interwoven with her kind of browned horns. Skin is a deep, deep maroon, like the deepest red that you can think of. And she just kind of looks your way, and at first it looks like she's about to give you some attitude back as she opens her mouth with like a, but then you see she clocks that you were also wearing the insignia and just kind of goes, oh. Well, you heard her, boys.
It's fine to feel fear, but you shouldn't let it rule you.
She kind of looks at you and then looks at them, and at this point the owlin has quickly like pulled out a parchment and is writing in like a small book of like making notes.
Just taking notes.
jot that down. Just like quickly taking that down and nodding, and you just see the kind of seafaring individual just kind of like rolls their eyes for a second. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Why are you doing this then?
And kind of
What's the point of you? What's the point of you being a Crown's Guard if you're not going to step it the fuck up?
Hey, you don't know my business and I don't know yours. You're a bit presumptuous here.
Perhaps, but your attitude speaks volumes.
I'm doing this for my family. They need the money. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here in the first place.
You could have done anything for money.
This offers more consistency, especially given everything else.
Then you're not going to make it very far.
And I think
I think that you will have quit within. I'll be generous and give you 6 months.
I think at that, you hear the tiefling woman laugh. She goes, "Oh, that's generous. I was giving it a week."
Some people have a tendency to surprise you. That's all. I don't fully believe in the 6 months, but I'm being generous.
And then you see at this moment, he looks like he's about to say something, and she just firmly plants one of her, like, hands on his chest and is like,
shut the fuck up.
Literally just shut up. Listen, you're a Crown's Guard. Stop just saying it if you have to say it. Doesn't necessarily believe in it, and you're being disrespectful to a fellow Crown's Guard who ranks higher than you, first off. And second off, you're being rude to a citizen for no reason. So shut up. And she gives this look, and the Alan is still taking notes. it's just like, is just jotting down and mumbling the whole time.
That is a stim. That is a stim, and Diadora's gonna let him have it.
Yep.
Like, because like she really wants to say that is not going to help you.
No.
Like, that is not. You don't take notes for shit like this. But you know what?
No.
You need to soothe yourself. It's fine.
But seemingly like looking excitedly at you. I will say from your passive, probably the other one has been bullying this Owlin, and it was actually the Owlin that mentioned that he was a bit fearful when you had passed. Seemingly he has been the target of some bullying, so he's either stimming or for sure is taking down notes to then tease him with this little bit of information that he got schooled earlier in the day by another individual. And she kind of going back to the tiefling woman with her hand on the seafarer's chest. Looks like he's about to say something, and she just flicks his armor. And there's a moment where you just hear almost like that metal of like a bell dinging for a second before he goes flying back 5 feet, landing on his back. And you hear that as like the air just escapes from his lungs immediately. I did warn you. She looks over at you. My apologies.
No, you're fine. I appreciate it, but you're not the only one who apologize for their behavior. Well, that one. This one seems fine. Pointing to that one. And I'll be like, there are some things you can't learn by just taking notes. But I can appreciate your eagerness. Don't let others...
Oh, hang on. We're getting static.
I see it. I have the chat up for once.
All right. Checking now. Well, is OBS stopping being homophobic? Maybe? I love it. Always targets when there's like a really special moment.
I think says it seems better.
Yeah, so we'll keep trying. Okay.
Okay. Don't let others dictate to you how you should do this job. I think you're scared because you care, but you're not letting it hold you back. And it's fine. And that's how every soldier should be.
He just kind of nods his head. Very much in the way that the owls normally do their kind of head bob. Like,
yeah.
And
this one I think is gonna last.
I think you're right. Lionel definitely seems like he's taking it much like a fish to water, but still, I apologize for the inconvenience that Lex has offered up.
Not an inconvenience. Just a moment for me to get a feel for the Crown's Guards here.
Well, this new batch is an intriguing group, I will say. We'll see how long they last. Apologies. I'm Ambrosia, by the way. One of the lieutenants around here. I know.
Sorry. For those of you, I have a character named Ambrosia in another campaign, and I'm like, this is the complete opposite of who she would fucking be. Diadora Shadesun.
Pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
Nice to meet you too.
Well, we won't let your evening get spoiled, as it looks, I think, like you're just arriving. So, yeah. But if you need anything, well, now you know my name. So we'll go from there. Be careful out there.
You too. Enjoy your shift. I hope it goes well.
Oh, my shift is, well, just getting started, so I'll need all the luck I can get.
Yeah.
And she gives you a wink before looking over at Lex, who is still groaning and moaning on the floor, on the ground, who's like holding his stomach. You're fine. I literally just flicked you. Okay? You're fine. Get up.
He quits that night.
Oh, yeah. Very much is done.
Also, I'm so sorry. I do need to pause real quick. I have to go get that package.
Yep, go for it.
I'll be right back.
You're good. I will pop back to me in the meantime. So, as the kind of sounds of the city continue to move through, you can kind of hear the joyful noises as a lot of people are returning home with a lot of coin in their pocket. Some others, not so much. You can hear the sounds of the taverns as they are starting to become alive for an evening of revelry and potential more coin coming into their pockets. As eventually moving through this kind of grotto district. No, and then the Fire Nation attack. No. As eventually Rory and Diadora find themselves kind of milling about the number of many stands that are also kind of being decorated for the autumnal season. As several of the kind of pumpkins have been put out, several scarecrows are kind of decorated around the city as well. And eventually you find yourself in front of a very, very much leaning tavern with this like massive sign out in front of it. And Rory kind of turns to you for a moment and goes, I believe this will suffice.
Yeah?
When last I was here, Granted, I think it's under new management now. When last I was here, the conditions presented were most acceptable. I believe this will give us the proper privacy and space to reset ourselves a little bit more.
You didn't need to explain your reasoning. I trust you.
He kind of just nods behind the mask. I think at that moment you see Corbin pop up for a moment and just goes, like, wrap it up. Hurry up. Before Rory goes up these small set of stairs to a bright kind of green door, like a forest green, opening it up, and immediately more noise kind of pours out of the building itself as you can kind of hear violins playing, a couple people singing, some off key, before he kind of pauses and puts his head out. Do you want to wait here while I get the room, or would you prefer to come on in and I'm trying to be aware of the sights and the sound. I know you're more sensitive to it.
Yeah, I'll just wait out here.
Okay. And they disappear inside. Why don't you go ahead and roll a perception check for me, please?
Oh boy, okay. Perception, 16.
Okay. With a 16, you can tell no one's following you. You get, and probably have noticed that you've gotten a couple curious glances as you're moving around. It's more so aimed at Rory than it is you.
Mm-hmm.
Because you do see automatons throughout the city. Normally faring a lot of the nobility. But Rory, aka Blackstone, is an automaton of a different kind. And so you do get a lot of very curious looks because, it's a masked figure moving through a group. And that can sometimes be a little bit alarming in itself. But even just realizing that some people have cued in on that from the way that Rory steps and walks, the heaviness with this step as well. So it's more curiosity. And that definitely kind of happens every now and then. Even as you're kind of just standing here waiting as the kind of moon is starting to rise, you can kind of hear, sorry, Salem's meowing. You're good, buddy. You can kind of hear a couple of whispers of like, well, never seen that before. Not being rude, not approaching the group, not gawking, but more so in passing as they walk. After a few minutes, Rory steps back out with 2 keys. Our room is up on the 3rd floor. I got us a room for you and then adjoining space and then my room. That way you have some privacy for you and Sparky. They are fine with doggos. That was the other reason that I wanted to suggest this space.
Doggos?
Sparky.
Where does the goes come from?
Well, the dog goes. They go with you.
Only if he chooses to.
Right.
Just seems like you're adding extraneous letters to a word that's already pretty short.
Maybe.
No, it is.
It's a curious observation. Your key?
Just take the key.
Just holds it out. And
I finally get to get out my disdain for the word doggos.
Before kind of holding the door open for you to go in, and you can see this small, again, very kind of lopsided inn has the kind of business area to off to the left, a small kind of dining area straight ahead, and then a set of stairs immediately to the right upon coming in. And you find yourself, after walking in and heading up to the third floor, in a room that, as soon as you shut the door, that quietness kind of settles in on you. And it's almost like in response, you see the ceiling kind of light up for a second, as like your palm is shutting the door. You can see almost like these lines of magic connecting from where your hand is touching the wall or the door frame up towards the ceiling. And you see it almost like calibrating or kind of sensing what you're feeling in that moment. And I think at this moment, you see these stars above Jorix as the moon is starting to rise.
On the ceiling?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll, like, set my stuff down. Put that armor in the wardrobe. And I think just maybe just sink onto the bed, like just still seated, but like kind of on the edge of the bed. And just sort of sit there. You know, just like trying to process everything that's happened, but kind of unable to process everything that's happened. Not even sure where to start.
I think Sparky at this moment puts his head on your lap and does the very like dog thing of like just looking up at you. You are their whole world. Hello everyone. Thank you so much for your patience. Apologies. Listen, it's not a stream unless there is some kind of tech issue that happens. But we really do appreciate your patience. I think we're back. I think just internet's being a little bit weird today, but you know, it is what it is. But we are going to get right back into it. So in this moment, you are in the room. It's quiet. Again, kind of jarring from going that heavy noise level and sound that you were experienced with the city before to now that silence that is there, minus like the familiar thrumming of like Sparky's tail against the ground, as they are like both like happy, but at the same time they like can sense that the mood is off, that something is different with you.
I like just like pet him, like kind of scratch between his ears. And just sort of I don't know what to do now that everyone's gone.
Kind of licks your hand, nipping it affectionately, trying to offer some kind of comfort in any way that they can.
I just like pat on the bed for him to jump up and join me.
And he does after a couple of moments. He definitely does. Now I know why it's doing the thing. Hang on. There we go. I'm trying to because Google Meets is reset on the overlay, so I'm trying to fix that real quick too while we're chatting. But kind of gives you a nip, and then eyes dart between you and darting to the door. You know this look. Seems like Sparky wants to go out.
All right, let's go.
He kind of immediately like backs away and starts doing like the spins, and then
yeah.
You didn't know the aggressive thing that he can do when he's super excited about either like a walk. Sorry, I might be, moving some of the terminology I've used with my dog in the past, here, and it's fine. But you are quickly escorted with Sparky outside of the tavern that you're in. Blackstone seems to have also headed off because he's not in his room when you pass. You don't hear any of the movements or anything in there. And it seems like Sparky is leading you through the city, which still quite loud, but it's quieter than it was before. There's less people milling about. But it's almost like you're getting snapshots of people's lives as you're kind of walking by, and you're seeing through windows and open doorways, laughter and people talking and moving about, life continuing on. And after, I would say, about 30, maybe 40 minutes of walking, you find yourself outside of the gates, but in a different area than when you came in. And you can see the ocean right where you're at. Perfect view. Ocean's off to your right, the city before you, and off to the left as well, just expanding. You can see the lights from, looks to be small houses in the distance, probably from some of the agriculture, the farming district as well. You hear, in this instance, the cooing of the kind of night doves and owls that have started their hunt for the night, as a nice, cool breeze moves through. Out on the ocean, you can see several ships that are very close to port. I would say barely off the docks. Kind of moving about, and you can see the lights and the candles moving around as people are still working even in this late night at this point. And Sparky just sits and looks at you.
I think I just sit next to him, sort of facing like the more natural terrain and landscape, like the ocean, maybe a bit of the farmlands. Kind of just with my, like, as much of my back towards the city as I can possibly swing it.
Yeah.
Just because that doesn't necessarily bring me any sort of comfort to see. And I sort of just lean against him.
Kind of leans, wags his tail. He's clearly is both happy because he's like, oh, I'm touching you, and I'm like in the moment, but also you see every now and then of I'm very happy, and oh, that scratch feels really good, to all of a sudden alert.
Yeah. The dog
squirrel.
ADHD, yeah.
Yeah, the squirrel.
The dog ADHD.
To just kind of keeping an eye out, trying to allow for you to have any number of moments that you might need.
I think I just just start talking to him, knowing that he can't. Well, I mean, he can respond to an extent, but just sort of kind of like how I sometimes do with my dog. It just looks like I've never had to deal with this before. Usually when people leave, they come back, but I don't think any of them are going to come back.
Tail wags.
I feel like it's my fault. I know that it's not. I think. Maybe it is. We should have just come straight here instead of going into the mountains. Like, was it even worth it? Doing all that?
I think in this moment, as you're kind of asking these questions out loud, you hear the thrumming of Sparky's tail in response, almost. Just silence in the air.
Yeah. She's not like expecting a response at all. It's just one of those like, I'm talking out loud and it seems like I'm talking to you, but I'm mostly talking to myself. And I just need somebody to hear it.
He likes you every now and then.
I'll like scratch him every time he does, or pet him every time he does.
Can you go ahead and roll a perception check for me?
Sure. Dirty 20?
Dirty 20. As you are kind of allowing yourself this moment to just talk and unburden yourself with some of the heavy load that you've been carrying thus far, you see a little bit of movement around you. And it's not from like a bush where maybe a chipmunk is lurking or anything like that. No. It's subtle. It's like a whisper on the wind as you see from the shadows from like by a tree or a bit of brush. Every now and then it's almost like dirt seems to spiral up slightly. You can smell and perceive, and Sparky is not giving any kind of venture of this otherwise, that no one's there. You've chosen a pretty secluded part. You're not sensing any threats. Nothing's kind of alerting you to that. Instead, it takes you a couple of seconds to realize that it seems like it's the shift weave. And instead of you normally reaching out for it, it's reaching out for you, but may not have as much strength. There's a discordance to it, especially as you see as it's kind of interweaving itself within the shadows. Every now and then it seems like it's outstretching towards your own shadow to try and connect, but is unable to. It's almost like it's rebuked, repelled, pushed back.
I reach for it.
You reach for it.
I close that gap.
And at that portion where the two shadows meet, you feel with your hand kind of outstretched towards the woods. Sparky kind of has been watching all of this very curiously. This whole thing. And for a minute you're in the woods and you blink and you're elsewhere. And now we'll actually take our actual break. So, that's the reason I was like, man, we were so close to where I was going to pause it for right now. We are going to take like a quick 5-minute break just for us to reset a little bit more and I can get ready for this next set of scenes. But thank you again so much for your patience while we were dealing with some tech difficulties. We have so much more left to go. So stay tuned. Go get a drink. Go get a snack. Go get your potions. Tell a friend that we're live. Hi. And we will be back in just a few minutes. Bye, everybody.